Okay, good morning class. So myself Sachin. Today I will take a class about personality. So first things, what is personality? So in the personality, to develop is the process of enhancement our thoughts, our behavior and interactions to overcome a more well-rounded and effective individuals. Okay, so in the personality, first things is who am I? So this is a very simple question, but it can be a very difficult answer to say who am I. You could answer these questions by telling your name, your hobbies, your designations, your qualities, and also your achievements you have to learn in your future or your present and your past. Okay, so this is a very descriptions or your beliefs and your values. There are millions of humans with millions of answers to these questions, and each one can tell a different story about who you are. Okay, so we have a lot in common with our fellow humans like race, religion, value, eye colors. Okay, so in the next slide, so what is personality? So personality, the word personality derived from the Latin word persona. Persona means is a mask or false face. So what is false face? So false face means in human there are two face. First is real face and second is false face. So false face is used for the Greek actors used to wear when you're acting on the stage. Okay, so in the personality is defined as a unique patterns of thoughts, feelings and behavior that distinguish a person from others. A product of both biology and environment, it remains fairly consistent throughout the life. So there are some example of personality like it can be found is how we derive other people traits. So other people's who have to trade from someone is jealous, is caring, or they are loyal to protectives of their friends. They have to help others to utilize their homework, their future thoughts. Okay, this is the some examples. So measurement of personality. Okay, how to measure of a personality, there is some test are there like objective test. First is objective test. So what is objective test? So objective test are psychological test which are different in nature from protective test. Conversely, objective tests generally explore an individual conscious thoughts and feelings. Okay, objective test tends to be more reliable and valid than protective test. So in the objective test, there is a questionnaire for strongly agree, disagree. Okay, and this objective some questions are there from different nature. Okay, and objective test is following steps. There are some steps are there to a objective test like first is making decisions on nature, goal, target, population and power. Second is creating a blank of questions. There are lots of questions are there. Estimating the validity of the questions by means of statistical procedures and or judgment of experts in the field. Next is designing a format of application like clear, easy to answer of questionnaire, etc. Okay, so there is a questionnaire and lots of points are there in a questions like agree, disagree. Okay, so this is the easy and clear process for a questionnaire. Okay, and that's this is a applying a revised questionnaire or interview to a sample. So in the sample of objective test there is a questionnaire and also a interviews of sample. Okay, so in the next slide is projective test. So, what is projective test? Now, a projective test is a type of personality test in which you offer responses to ambitious sense words or images. So, there is a image you have to see this PPT. There is a woman's face, also a man who can a sex player, okay, sex player who and a woman face, okay. The goal of such test is to uncover the hidden conflicts or emotions that projects onto the test with the hope, okay. So in the next slide, this is a non-projective test, okay. We can conclude that personality is total actions of mind body systems determined by the interaction of heredity implicate in the behavioral patterns in integrating, okay, in the psychic structural systems and mental attributes of interest and feelings. So you can see this picture of the slide, okay. So next is non-projective techniques makes use of following points, okay. There is a two things are there. First is interview and second is questionnaire. So in the interview, during which subject's behavior are observed may be struck or unstructured, the examiner may ask standardized set of questions is in conventional interchange with the subject. Okay, so in the interview, you can you can interact someone from your other side, and he can questions different types of question to you, and you just eye to eye contact and just answer this question, okay. And in the questionnaire is a written test consisting of a list of questions, and the subjects under test has to tick the appropriate answers yes or no. So in the questionnaire, you all know the questionnaires for your dissertation purpose. So in the questionnaire there are a lot of questions for your mind, and other side your playing field and your comparative comparative test, okay. In comparative test types questions, so there are lots of questions, and this is the some points to a questions like agree, disagree, yes or no. Okay, you have to tick a questions or a correct questions, or you have to like yes or no. Okay, in this questionnaire. So last is so the behavioral assessment. So in the behavioral assessment is a tool from the field of psychology that is used for observing, describing, explaining, and predicting behavior. So in the behavioral, you can judge a person for you also. So your friend, like example, your friend behavioral is so good. You can see her or his to every time he or her talking style, her dressing sense, her or his speaking quality for every educational or socialized, okay. So you can judge someone for her behavioral concept, okay. In the behavioral assessment are now being used outside the clinical settings too. So this is the behavioral concept you can use for the outside for the clinical and for the chambers, especially is educational and corporate sectors, and likely used for the educational purpose and corporate sectors for the judgment of someone's, okay. To consider their protective natures, and someone natures you have to protective and predictive to yes this person is good or bad, okay. Okay, next is theories of personality. There are lots of theories like psychoanalytic theories, trait theories, social cognitive theories, and behavioralist personality theories. So in the psychoanalytic theories, like attempting to explain humans' behavior in terms of interactions of various components of personality. Okay. Number two is traits theory. So attempts to learn what traits make up personality and how they relate to actual behavior. Okay. In the third point is social cognitive theory. So social cognitive theory means attribute difference in personality to socialization, how to socialize someone's, and explanation, how to explain from different words for a topic, and mental process, how to thoughts your mental thickness and mental process. Okay. And behavior personality means how to behavior yourself, how to behavior to a someone, to internal conflicts, inner working of, especially, okay, to focus someone. So next is purpose of personality theories. So in the first purpose is to provide a way of organizing the many characteristics you know about yourself and other people. Like example, outgoing or shy, quick temper or claim, dull, weakness. Okay. So second purpose is to explain the difference among individuals. Third is explores how people conduct their lives, and number fourth is determine how life can be improved. Okay. So thank you class. This is the topic of personality. I think you are all clear. So I will take a class for next session. Okay. Thank you.